The legalists concentrated power highly in the hands of the ruler alone, advocating that the ruler need not be a sage, an ordinary person would suffice. The legalists believed that the ruler himself should practice non-action, wu wei, allowing others to do everything that needs to be done for him. In contrast, Taoism advocated that everyone should practice non-action, and then everything would naturally be accomplished. The legalists employed tactics shu to manage officials and law fa to govern the people, using tactics to maintain authority, shi, and wielding authority to implement law. Click the plus sign to follow this account for more exciting content. For thousands of years, Eastern culture has been predominantly rooted in traditional agricultural society. People were tied to the land year after year, following unchanging seasonal patterns. Past experience was sufficient to guide present activities, and deviating from this experience often brought disaster. Therefore, Eastern culture holds great respect for tradition and ancient authority. Many Chinese philosophers believed that the golden age of humanity lay in the past, and that history represented a continuous decline, thus necessitating a return to antiquity. However, the legalists explicitly opposed this view. They argued that life was better in ancient times simply because the population was small and people were not competitive. Their hearts were simple. Now that the population had increased, enabling so many people to live well required innovation and reform. The significant transformative role of legalism in ancient Chinese society lay in replacing the rules of kinship clans with decrees from the ruler and government to govern the state and manage the people. The legalist goal was to transform every family into an independent individual, depriving them of the protection and control of the clan, forcing them to rely solely on the ruler and government, thereby strengthening the centralization of power. The legalists concentrated power highly in the hands of the ruler alone. They proclaimed that the ruler need not be a sage. An ordinary person would suffice. As long as he faithfully implemented the legalist methods, even a ruler of average talent could govern the country in an orderly manner. It is worth noting that legalist thought does not refer to legal litigation and trials, but rather to the theories and methods of legal statutes, organization, and management. Legalist thought was highly effective and produced excellent practical results, but it required the ruler to follow a path of absolutism. The core ideas of legalism are embodied in law fa, tactics, shu, and authority, shi. Authority, power. The ruler holds the highest position, granting him the power to legislate. Ministers and common people must submit to the ruler's personal will. Fa, law method. Using laws and legal systems to control the people and maintain social order. Shu, tactics, art. The ruler needs to master the art of statecraft methods and artistry in handling affairs and employing people. This includes knowing certain political maneuvers to both delegate power to ministers to help govern and simultaneously guard against and control these individuals to prevent usurpation of power or the throne. Use shu to maintain shi, and use shi to implement fa. Deal with the people using fa, and deal with officials using shu. As long as the ruler holds the power of reward and punishment firmly in his own hands, while ensuring he is an impartial person who administers rewards and punishments clearly, his rule can achieve action through non-action. That is, the ruler himself should practice non-action, wu wei, letting others do everything that needs to be done for him. Note, Taoism and legalism represent two extremes in Chinese thought. Taoism considered humans to be fundamentally innocent and advocated absolute individual freedom. Legalism considered humans to be fundamentally evil and advocated absolute social control. Yet, on the point of action through non-action, both schools use the same phrase. The difference lies in the fact that Taoism advocated that everyone should practice non-action and then everything would naturally be accomplished. For the legalists, shi, fa, and shu were an inseparable trinity. Not one can be lacking. They are all the implements of the emperor, king. Furthermore, in ancient times, li, ritual, etiquette, served as an unwritten code, controlling the behavior of the gentlemen, aristocrats, through praise and blame. For the small men, commoners, ordinary people, penal law, xing, was applied. Hence the saying, rituals do not extend down to the common people. Punishments do not extend up to the senior officials. It is also noteworthy that during the spring and autumn and warring states periods, legalism was mainly divided into two major schools with significant ideological differences. Qi legalism, represented by figures like Guanzhong, Shendao, and Tianpian. This school advocated emphasizing both law, legal governance, and Zhao, moral education. The state of Qi, located on the eastern coast, had relatively developed commerce, a more open and diverse culture, and was deeply influenced by Confucianism. Therefore, Qi legalism was relatively moderate and inclusive, integrating Confucian ritual thought. It advocated enriching the people as a prerequisite for governance, believing that the prosperity of the populace was the foundation for national stability and development. Jing legalism, represented by figures like Shang Yang, Han Fei, Shen Buhai, and Li Kui. This school discarded Li ritual entirely, relying solely on rewards and punishments, particularly harsh laws and severe punishments. The states of Qin and Jin were located in frontier inland areas, with relatively conservative and closed cultures. Their economies were primarily agricultural, emphasizing farming and warfare. Prolonged conflicts with Rong and Dai minority groups fostered a militaristic and pragmatic cultural character. They emphasized agriculture over commerce, advocated governing the people by keeping them impoverished, governing a rich state as if it were poor, believing that keeping the populace in a relatively impoverished state was more conducive to driving them to serve the state. I am Wu Huaiyu, a PhD from the Chinese Academy of Sciences and a postdoctoral fellow from Peking University, and the founder of AI Philosophy. For more detailed information, please refer to the complete version of this book. In addition to this short video, you can also click on my avatar to view more long videos.